Hey, how's it going? In today's video, we're going to discuss how you can find deals from home virtually so that you don't have to spend time driving for dollars or spend money sending out direct mail to properties. Hey, so I'm Juan Pablo from 100% Finance, where we help investors just like yourself with your credit, funding, and knowledge needs so that way you can get a cash flowing multi-unit rental property. If you're new to the channel, just make sure you subscribe just to get notifications of each video that we release. And also check out our description. We have a lot of tools, resources, and webinars to help further your education so that way you can get enough passive income to say goodbye to 9 to 5 in a short matter of time. So make sure you stay to the end because I have a special bonus. I want to share with you some insights about analyzing deals. So let's jump into it. You may be in an unfortunate situation in which you're working long hours at your job, you have commuting time, so your spare time is critical where you have to use that time in a very smart way to find deals from home, right? So you might not be able to have an abundance of time to actually hit the streets, drive for dollars and so forth, look for deals. Or you may be in an unfortunate situation in which, as a result of this quarantine, you may be working remotely, right? And you might not have the commuting time that you once had, the long hours in the office that you once had. So you have additional time at your disposal to really focus on acquiring cash flowing deals. So obviously, we live in the information age. We have so much technology at our fingertips, at our disposal, that we can actually perform businesses remotely, virtually, right? So keeping that in mind, why not set up your deal finding strategy remotely as well? Be that architect where you're designing your whole buy and hold investment business or strategy with working remote in mind. It makes sense, doesn't it, right? So if you're interested in learning how to acquire deals online, then we're about to jump into it right now, okay? So obviously, if you're planning to buy multi-unit investment properties remotely, searching for those deals, you need some resources or tools in place in order to do so, because you'll be working remote, working virtually. So some of those tools are as follows. Obviously, you need an internet connection, which means you need a device, right, to search for deals. And you also need a phone line, okay? Very simple tools that are needed. Now, once you have those basic tools in your disposal, the next thing you need is proof, AKA credibility, meaning a proof of funds, right? A commitment from your mortgage company saying that they'll be willing to provide you with funding to buy a property. Now, we discussed that in our cash flow cycle. There's 4 phases to the cash flow cycle. There's find the money, find the deal, which we're talking about today, perform due diligence, and close. So in my other videos, as well as other content that we have, just check the YouTube description below if you're interested in learning more. We talked about that in phase 1, about finding the money, because deal finders, which I'm about to get into, typically don't like to spend their time looking for deals, driving for dollars. They'll be doing those activities that you won't be doing if they happen to find out that you're not qualified to begin with. Okay, so it's extremely important that you do phase 1 first in its entirety before you actually perform the things that I'll discuss in today's video, okay? So as I repeat, make sure you have phase 1 completed, have your proof of funds, have your money together, because that leads to the next step, where once you have your money together, right, you have that in order, you want to reach out to deal finders. Now, deal finders can be real estate agents or they can be wholesalers. A wholesaler is someone who's similar to an agent in many ways in regard to their main function or priorities to find deals, but they make their money slightly different than agents. An agent just gets paid a commission, right? A percentage of the sale price. A wholesaler, they make their money off a spread, meaning they get the property under contract and they'll sell, in other words, assign their contract to an end buyer, which is you, a buy and hold investor. That's what I'm speaking to that audience, a buy and hold investor at a spread. You know, they get that middleman income. So it's slightly different, but nonetheless, both wholesalers and real estate agents search for deals, but they won't find deals for you if they prove you not to be credible, okay? So we talked about the basic tools so far. Have internet, phone, and some type of device to search for deals. Make sure you have your money together, phase 1, cash flow cycle. Also reach out to deal finders. You can reach out to them and make sure they're out there finding deals for you. Now the next step is doing online research, okay? Now my preference as a real estate entrepreneur, I prioritize having teams and systems in place. So that way I can just be the owner and not so much the operator. But we all gotta start from somewhere, so I'm not knocking it whatsoever. I got started doing that as well. Okay, so what I'm about to share with you in a few moments is if you happen to be fortunate enough to get access to deals on the internet, I should say, then you should be able to locate deals yourself as well as real estate agents in which you could reach out to. Okay, but I'll just give you a few platforms before we switch and I do the screen share. So one platform in which you can use to find deals is loopnet.com. This is mainly for multifamily properties, loopnet.com. And LoopNet's a great resource for finding deals, but of course, if you want the premium access, you have to pay additional money in order to search for deals. CoStar is another one. That's another great resource for finding deals. LoopNet is also owned by CoStar, by the way. So you can use that. Of course, you can find deals through other online resources such as Zillow, Trulia, things of that nature. But one of my favorites, you can also find great deals on the MLS. So of course, you may want to have pocket listings. A pocket listing is where a deal finder finds a deal before they post it anywhere on the internet. They reach out to you first. You know, just put it in your pocket. Hey, are you interested? If so, let me know in about a day or so. Otherwise, I'm going to blast it out publicly on the internet. Okay, so if you're not able to get pocket listings up front, which is great, you can also find deals on the internet as a share, which is great as well. And one of those ways is through the FMLS or the MLS. Okay, the MLS is the multi-listing service. Okay, and it's a great resource for finding deals. So without further ado, I want to share with you how I can actually search for deals at home. So by the way, while you're watching this, you might see something blurred because it's personal identifiable information. So just disregard that. But I'm going to share with you how to locate deals and tie in that bonus of how to quickly analyze deals to see if it's a good deal that you should pursue. All right, so let's jump into it. So being that we're talking about finding a deal, I also want to share with you one of the things that we do to find deals. So we have many different ways of finding deals, either for our own investment purposes or for those of our MAP clients, those in the multi-unit acquisition program. So I do want to share the screen again, just to share with you some of the process we do so you can kind of see what goes on behind the screen, okay? So what I'm in right now is the MLS. So we have access to the MLS. So this is in the West Penn area, the multi-list. So West Penn is for Western Pennsylvania. And that's where we typically source deals in Pittsburgh City, Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, and neighboring cities and counties. We also do Harrisburg as well. So let's say we're part of the multi-unit acquisition program, or multi-unit income training. We want to focus on multi-unit properties. So if that's the case, we can filter that. So we're in the MLS here, and we go to multi-unit. And this is kind of like how we filter a search. So when we filter a search, we can filter by the type of property. So as I shared in last week's training, right? Depending on your qualification for a mortgage, you might be capped at a 4-unit if this is your first time investing, you're doing a commercial mortgage. Okay, so if that's the case, you can select different types of properties here. A duplex, fourplex, house and a unit. So you might be saying, well, what do you mean a house and a unit? Well, I actually own one of those as well. One of the properties I have is a 5-unit. You might hear me say this a lot on videos about a 5-unit for $100,000. That's the property I have. It's a 4-unit building, a quadplex, and it's a house, but it's all attached under one deed. Okay, and I'm gonna select triplex. So I selected duplex, fourplex, house and unit, triplex, and these are the counties that I like to invest in. Allegheny, so I'm going to select a few of them. I like Butler and Beaver as well, and there's many others, but just for instructional purposes, I'm just going to select those few. Okay, and now I'm going to go to search for the rest of these results. All right, let's see. Okay, so you see here, there are a lot of properties that are listed, several of them, right? And here's the type of property, duplex. So one of the things I like to do, so there's a lot of properties, and you see down here, it's like multiple pages. So you definitely want to go through each and every one. What I like to do is do like a quick breeze through, right? Where I like to look at the number of units and the purchase price, right? Just to see if it's something I want to buy. So I typically like to buy properties maybe $30,000 to $40,000 per door. Of course, some may be 50, but as long as the cash flow works, I'll still move forward with it. But I kind of like to keep it in that range. So I see some duplexes here, a duplex for 93, a duplex for 145, a fourplex for 200. I also see a duplex for 310. I see a duplex for 62. That seems pretty affordable there. Another duplex for 29. That's stupid cheap too. So you might be saying 29,900. Man, I want to get that property right now. Well, with this property, if it's 29,900, you typically can get a mortgage for that. Why? Because most mortgage lenders don't want to lend less than $50,000. It's not worth their time. They get paid on commission, so they'll get like pennies on the dollar for providing a mortgage. So this is the type of property you buy cash. But this is like a sweet deal right here. We have a triplex for $95,000. So let's take a look at that. Now, one of the things I do, so I'm just giving you some insight how you can quickly analyze deals, just to see if it's worth your while, meaning is it worth putting in a deal analyzer? Okay, so I'm just sharing with you one way. You want to have multiple ways, but one way of sourcing deals, and that's through using the MLS. So I just share with you, I just did a filter. I'm looking for multi-unit properties. You can further add more filters to it by having purchase price, neighborhood, and so forth, number of bedrooms and all that good stuff. But just want to show you like the whole process of how we source deals. And then the next thing I look at to see is how many units versus the purchase price. So if it's 95,000 and it's 3 units, that's about $30-something thousand a door, which in my opinion, that's what I kind of like. I like to do that. So now that we did that, the next thing I do is the 1% rule, which pretty much means that the gross rent, monthly rent, I get that question a lot. Well, does the gross monthly rent also include other revenue sources such as laundry, or does it also include vending machines? Yes, it does. Just the gross monthly revenue, okay, just to be more accurate. So the 1% rule is the monthly revenue should be 1% of the purchase price. So let's add it up. So I'm getting my calculator out here. So you see here the rent is 3 units, so it shows the rent here. The rent is $350 plus $410 plus $525. So that's $1,285. Okay. Now is $1,285 1% of 95,000? Well, let's see. 1% of 95,000 is $950. So the rent in that scenario should be at least $950 for the month. And you see here it's $1,285. So this might be a good deal. So what I would do with this deal, I would, of course, read the description. So it says solid, affordable. Yeah, it does seem affordable, right? Triplex, walking distance from the waterfront, shops, and so forth. Unit 1 has 2 bedrooms. So there's like a lot of good information here, okay? And it does show the gross operating income, insurance, utility expenses. So it has the expenses listed as well. So one of the things I would do with this property, I would then take this, look at some of the photos. Looks like it's in decent shape. Okay, so this is not the Taj Mahal, by the way, but as long as it's in livable condition, up to code, that's what matters. It's a safe property. So it looks pretty good. So what I would do then is after doing that 1% rule, I would then put it in the deal analyzer. And with the deal analyzer, that's when I calculate the mortgage, the debt service, if I'm financing it, whether it's the down payment, whether I'm using business credit, what have you. That's why I'll do additional analysis to see if the deal will work. And if the deal works, meaning it satisfies the 3 criteria, it cash flows about $100 a unit per month, $100 per unit per month. It has a cash on cash return, positive, especially if I'm doing a 100% finance, then that cash on cash return will be infinite. And third, am I bonding with some built-in equity? So I had people ask that about a lot of questions like that too. Like, hey, I want 20% built-in equity. Well, I mean, it's already affordable, right? It's a triplex for less than $100,000. So you still have to run comps, comparable sales. So we use this to run comparable sales, the MLS, of course, to see like what the potential value could be. But we also do some math to see what the value could be as well, which is as follows.
The valuation of a property is typically the NOI over the cap rate. So if the NOI in this case is 8202 divided by the cap rate, I assume the cap rate might be 10%. That's just a guess. Let me get my calculator again. So I'll take 8202 divided by 0.10. And it comes out to 82,020. So that's the valuation just using that model. So I would definitely want to take a further look to see what the comparable sales are in this area, see if this would be a property worth pursuing.
So there you have it. That's the quick screen share in which I share with you how to locate a few deals and so forth in the MLS. Again, there's multiple ways to find deals as I shared. You can drive for dollars, but you're not able to do that from home. You could send out direct mail campaigns as well, but that does involve a lot of time of you calling sellers and so forth, and some money as well to mail it out. But you can also reach out to deal finders, which is my favorite, and also do online research as well, which I just shared with you. Now, if you're interested in learning more about the cash flow cycle, all those 4 phases, and how you can start obtaining passive income in your portfolio so you can say goodbye to 9 to 5, then check the links in the descriptions below. You might be a person in which you need additional knowledge and training, then great, we have webinars. Just check the description below in this video. Or you may say, hey, I'm ready to take action now, because I'm an action taker. I'm more in the mindset of, hey, where's the link so I can apply, so I can learn more? So just check the links below, and we would love to help. As always, guys, this is to your success. Continue to earn passively and live passionately. Peace.